Okay, now we're live on the YouTube. Let me just copy and paste that there. And then what we'll do is we'll put it right there. We'll go right here. All right. Wow, Alpha Geek is running fast tonight. All right, now we're live on Alpha Geek. Hello, Alpha Geek. All right. So I think we're ready to go. Let's start the show. I'm going to turn my microphone down. We'll have the intro, and then we'll be off to the races. Here we go. We're recording. Yeah, we are. Okay, here we go.
In the news. You are listening to Alpha Geek Radio.
The following is a production of Galactic Netcasts.
We interrupt this program to give you a bulletin just received from one of our naval units at sea. A large object traveling at supersonic speed is headed over the North Atlantic toward the east coast of the United States.
This earth of yours will be reduced to a burned-out cinder.
This could be the beginning of the end for the human race. Human beings cower before the onslaught of these unearthly enemies.
The date, Thursday, February 4th, 2016. The show, the Alien Invasion Podcast number 173. Hello there, I'm Dave Nelson. With me, as always, Brad Ludwig and Anessa Moyens. Hey, guys.
Howdy.
Hello.
Thought I changed it up a little bit there.
It freaked me out.
Did I sound like a serious, like, I don't know. I was trying to capture the whole like 1960s serious news reporting kind of guy vibe. Did you pick up on that at all?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Then I will work harder next time.
Are you going to be working for a news station here shortly, or?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's Thursday, February 4th, 2016. And welcome to the Alien Invasion Podcast. No, that's not. Well, it's less of a news reporter and more of a maybe a news announcer kind of thing.
Ah, see, there you go.
Yeah. Well,
then it works better for the news announcer then.
Oh, wait, here we go. Do it one more time.
Okay. It's Thursday, February 4th, 2016, and this is the Alien Invasion Podcast, a production of Galactic Netcast.
Our timer's broken.
With Andy Rooney.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could find.
Morley Safer. And who is
Ed
it?
Bradley.
Who is it from CNN that pops in and does once in a while? Oh, Anderson Cooper. It's like, that always throws me off. Anderson Cooper? The hell's he doing on 60 Minutes?
Yeah, he sometimes makes an appearance. Why not?
Don't let him rattle you, Coop. Oh, wait, that's Twin Peaks. Sorry.
So, welcome, guys. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing all right.
Good.
Except for the garage door.
Yeah, the garage door kind of had a bit of a fail.
Why don't you tell the tale real quick?
Well, Brad's been having annual issues with the garage door. And just the way that it was, I think, previously installed was not very well. It was done poorly.
It was slapdash at best.
And as a result, the garage door doesn't always stay on the rails like it should, and it finally gave out. Brad got up early the other morning to snowblow, couldn't get the door open. I got up, went outside to help, and we succeeded in getting the door open.
I've seen
It's open permanently.
Yeah, it's open permanently, as in it's no longer on the rails. It's in the middle of the garage. And
Stuff went off the rails, man.
Beat me to it.
Literally.
I was going to say
off
something.
the rails.
Yeah. Damn it.
And the literally is actual used. It's used properly.
Well, how are things in the garage? Like, did things freeze up? Are you fearful for things being stolen? What's going on?
No, the neighborhood that we're in is like, it's very quiet. There's only one area where things can get a little weird depending on who's living in the apartment complex, but I think that the people that were causing issues left right before wintertime. So
At least we haven't seen any more cop cars over there.
yeah.
And it was like almost a daily thing there for a while. It was bad. And so, yeah, I called around, had some people come out and take a look. One of those people was like, because we have an odd-sized door. I guess the standard 2-car garage door is 16 by 7, 7 feet tall. And the door that we have is 16 by 8. And so he's like, well, I don't know if anyone would have it in stock. It would take us 3 to 4 weeks to get the garage door. And so I'm like, okay, thanks, bye.
So it's not repairable then. It's not.
No.
We want it just all redone.
Okay.
The track itself was poorly installed. So every year when the temperature was just right, stuff would just kind of fall out of the track. So, and this year it just fell out even further. So
yeah,
that's what you do, guys. You go old fashioned, okay? You go 1800s or early 20th century with just 2 big wooden doors. That's all you got to do. Couple of hinges. You can get all this stuff at Home Depot. No problem.
Home Depot. It'd probably be cheaper than the door we're getting. I found someone who is going to come out and install the door, and it was cheaper than the guy who said it'll take a month. And they're optimistic in that they'll get it on Tuesday or Wednesday of this coming week. So
happy ending.
Yep.
All right, so that's good. Let's get back to talking about why we're gathered here. We're gathered here to talk about aliens, the kind that come from out of this world, extraterrestrials,
and wreck your garage door.
Yeah, see, blame it on the alien.
I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Wait, hang on. Got to get my hair there. It was aliens. Okay, never mind.
And their appearances in film, TV, video games, comic books, science, and in real life. The show is in 3 sections: the news, the sightings, the sightings feature, and our picks for the week. Before we start, we want to thank Todd Whitehead at Alpha Geek Radio and Alpha Geek Video for having us on his network. We really appreciate that. That's where we're streaming our audio and video right now at alphageekradio.com. For everybody watching us or listening to us there, hello.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, and thank you guys for watching and listening. And while you're doing that, head over to our website, gncasts.com, and click on the social buttons on the front page, the Twitter, the Facebook, the Google+. We've got all accounts at those different social networks, and we would really appreciate it if you follow us on Twitter, join our Facebook group or page, and follow us also on Google+. At least for now. We don't really do anything with that, but that's okay. All right, let's get the show started before I totally lose it with the news.
In the news.
I felt myself losing steam, so I just thought, let's just change direction and get. See, okay, never mind. Brad, talk, please.
I would love to start. This is from the dailymail.co.uk.
Oh, it's got to be something good then.
Oh, boy. And how? Here's the headline. Does this video show stricken UFO plummeting to Earth? Footage filmed in the skies over Russia prompts heated debate. I'm sorry. There we go. A video shot in Russia has got UFO watchers excited after some claimed it was an alien vehicle plunging into the Earth. The video was shot by a Russian man, Mikhail Litvinov, who said he spotted the device leaving a huge plume of gas behind it as it plunged to Earth on the outskirts of the central Russian city Kemerovo. It quickly attracted thousands of views as people debated what it could be, with many pointing out it was too slow to be a meteorite, but producing too much of a gas trail to be an aeroplane. I like that it's aeroplane and not airplane.
It's a Red Hot Chili Pepper song.
I don't blame.
The gas is off-white in color at the tail, but becomes blacker closer to the object. Speaking to Russian news site Komoslovskava, whatever. Hey, this Russian news site said, "From my side, I hope it was a shooting star." Journalists from Russian news site Blocknot contacted. I made that sound horribly American. Blocknot. Nah. I sound like the penguin. Contacted Russian airborne forces, who said that there was no registered incidents in the skies over Kemerovo at the time involving either crashed craft or meteorites. One online commenter said it was going down so fast. I reckon it was a Russian. I reckon it was a Russian ruble.
Bum, bum, bum.
While another observed, that's like a horrible, like, accountant dad joke. While another observed, it is certainly too slow to be a meteorite, implying it is mechanical in origin. One supposed expert pointed out it was a cigar UFO due to its long, thin shape. These are apparently less widely known than saucers. The first well-known UFO sighting occurred in 1947 when businessman Kenneth Arnold claimed to see a group of 9 high-speed objects near Mount Rainier in Washington while flying his small plane. Arnold estimated the speed of the crescent-shaped objects as several thousand miles per hour and said they moved like saucers skipping on water. This is how the term flying saucer was coined, as in the newspaper report that followed, it was mistakenly stated that the objects were saucer-shaped. And there's a little bit of history for you.
No, that's good to know. It's good to relearn that every once in a while.
Absolutely.
Forget about that, the few details when it comes to that.
Now I'm going to pull this up and do a little screen sharing for our YouTube viewers.
You gonna show the video or just show pictures?
I'm going to attempt to.
You know what? Good on you for having a computer that can do that. To do a Hangout on Google Hangout and stream video at the same time. I wish that was possible with my computer.
So I don't think that you can hear the audio from this, unfortunately. But you can see here. Actually, I'm gonna. Here it is. There's the plume of white smoke. It is definitely much darker towards where the object is. For that could be space junk for all we know.
I was going to say, how close are they to the launch facility in, was it Kazakhstan?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to stop screen sharing here while I try to find that.
Where was this supposed to be? Video shot in Russia.
In Kemerovo.
Kemerovo. The central Russian city.
Kazakhstan?
So I'm guessing that's probably not near Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. That's where the launch facility is, right? Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan?
Isn't
there an extra?
No, Baikonur. The Cosmodrome is there. That's where they launch their Soyuz.
Okay. So just put one.
I'm sorry.
It's in Kazakhstan.
It's in the desert steppe of Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Okay. Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. I like mine better.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Kablama. Damn.
Too many weird names.
Are you putting it into Google Map? Start one.
Kazakhstan.
I just played. I wish I could.
He just played audio from like the dictionary or something, like the audio for Kazakhstan.
You know what?
So
You
now
go
we
to
know how
YouTube
that's
and type it
pronounced.
in. It's probably going to be some. You know how they have the pronunciation videos, but some are like fake.
There you
Yeah.
go. I just threw it into the group chat here. If you want to,
Play it.
if you can play that.
Oh, I can't.
Oh.
Well, maybe I can. It's gonna might
Kazakhstan.
lock up my computer. That's the problem.
Oh, no worries then.
Kazakhstan.
Okay.
Kazakhstan is how it's being
Kazakhstan.
said.
Okay.
I like Kazakhstan.
I like you. Kablam blam.
Kablam blam.
Oh, Black Betty. Oh wait, that's
Oh, Black Betty.
completely different.
Kablam blam. Oh, fun times, fun times.
So there you go. Conspiracy, aliens crash landing on Earth,
I'm gonna say.
or space junk.
I'm gonna say space junk. Space junk.
Space junk.
Space junk.
I'm kind of
All right.
curious where that is in Russia.
Yeah, take a look. Take a look. Do you want me to launch into my story as your research?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's go to Hollywood, shall we? Let's turn to entertainment. That's the news. Time now for entertainment. Alien Covenant, Noomi Rapace will not be returning as Dr. Elizabeth Shaw. I was kind of suspicious that she wasn't going to be, because all the talk has been what's his ass, Michael Fassbender returning as Michael, but no word yet. What's that, Anessa?
You said ass.
What's his ass?
What's his ass?
You know.
Saying ass is fine.
Okay.
All right. So we already knew that Catherine Waterston. I wonder if that's what's his face's daughter.
Sam Watterson's?
Sam Waterston's daughter. Anessa, you looked that one up.
Yeah.
Catherine Waterston has been cast as the film's female lead, but last we heard, Rapace was set to return, albeit in a reduced capacity. Now, however, Scott's response to a question about whether she'll be back is a flat no, followed by, "We're still casting." There are no further details, so it's possible that the deals are still on the table. It may, on the other hand, be the case of clashing schedules, with Alien Covenant set to go shortly and Rapace currently in pre-production for the title role in the Amy Winehouse biopic. It may even be that rather than make a minor appearance in Covenant, Dr. Shaw is being kept back for a larger part in future Aliens. Scott, after all, is planning 2 more. Covenant will not completely abandon the Prometheus crew because, like I said, Michael Fassbender's android David, I said Michael, I think, is still set for reassembly. Last we saw him, he was in pieces. Scott has also recently confirmed that following the latter curveball, Covenant will be a full-on, full-blown alien movie. No pussyfooting around. It's full-on, full-frontal alien.
Is this like an alien born?
Yeah, I was just going to say, brown chicken, brown cow.
Oh, yeah. Full-on, full-blown, full-frontal alien.
Okay.
Okay, that's the show, folks. Good night.
All right, so you guys' thoughts on this? Are you mad that Dr. Shaw won't be back? And where the hell, where'd she go?
Maybe she died. Because she is human. Maybe the ship ran out of like food or something.
That is possible. They are jumping like in time too. Like I was reading some other article and they were kind of showing where each time period was compared from Prometheus to the first Alien movie and how many years they'll have to go. And it sounds like they'll be jumping time. So maybe you're right, Anessa. Maybe she's it's just a matter of she doesn't survive the trip through space, because they're only like, I think, like in a shuttle, like a very, very small craft, right? I think.
Yeah. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
We bought the movie. I still haven't seen it yet.
You've never seen Prometheus?
No. Mm-mm.
Really?
Yeah, Amazon had a really good deal about a month ago with Alien. Actually, I think it was like 5 Alien movies and Prometheus on Blu-ray for like $22 or something.
Wow. Okay.
And I mean, Alien.
Does it have the director's cut?
Don't know. I didn't look.
If it does, you guys should watch the director's cut.
Oh no, if it does, I'm definitely watching the director's cut because I didn't care for the cinema cut.
Theatrical release.
Theatrical cut.
Word.
Yeah, especially for Brad's first time, through the lens of him never seeing the theatrical version, he may really, really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and to answer the question of Catherine Waterston, yes, her father is Sam.
Aha! I called it in your face. Okay.
My face.
Okay, so we'll see what happens. I'm sure that we'll be talking about this again on a very near future episode of the Alien Invasion. Seems like every couple weeks there's a story about Alien Covenant. So stay tuned. All right. Hey, this is kind of an S's story is kind of a follow-up to another story that we had. I think I talked about an interview with Tom DeLonge not too long ago, and there's more on him this week.
Yeah, and I think I've talked about him before that as well. He tends to pop up periodically. But former Blink-182 member Tom DeLonge will launch a new cross-media series called Secret Machines that spans fiction and nonfiction books and new music this spring. The singer will kick things off with a 704-page hardcover novel, Secret Machines Book 1, Chasing Shadows, which he co-wrote with author A.J. Hartley, who wrote the Darwin Arkwright series, and will be released on April 5th. It's the first of 3 books, which claim to be, quote, based on actual events, and, quote, from the imagination of DeLonge. The subject matter draws from the information gathered from sources within military and intelligence community, also in quotes. There's a lot of quotes. I'm just going to quit saying quotes about UFOs. Characters in the books include a pilot, an heiress, a journalist, and a prisoner of war. I wanted to tackle the subjects of unidentified aerial phenomena because it seems so unbelievable. Phenomena. Do, 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 do.
Phenomena.
Sorry. I knew the story was fantastic, regardless if you believed it or not. This was one topic that could tackle religion, cosmology, science, history, politics, secrecy, and more. After taking over a year to meet, prove myself, and acquire 8 elite advisors, each of whom has held the highest positions within the military, scientific, and executive branch offices, this story contains true information from a secret historical record, some of which has never been heard until now. We all need to take a moment to think about the national security threat that exists when world powers race to understand and control advanced technology recovered from extraordinary places, he added. The series will also include music from DeLonge's current project, Angels and Airwaves, though the singer has yet to reveal album details. And for more info, you can go to rollingstone.com.
All right.
But I just thought, people might be interested since he claims he got some hookups with the government on secret files and it'll be in a book. But I guess you'll kind of have to read and try to pick out what's true and what's crap. His imagination.
So let's pick this article apart a little bit here. So he's going to launch a cross-media series. Cross-media, which is multifaceted, like book.
Video, book.
Yep. Called Secret Machines. Secret spelled S-E-K-R-E-T. Okay. Spans fiction and nonfiction. So is it going to be... Is this like a bunch of short stories? Is that what they are?
It doesn't sound like it because it says it's a 704-page hardcover novel.
Wow. That's a long one.
It is, and there's supposed to be 3 of them. I might have to wait to see what the reviews are in Goodreads before I give that one a go, I think.
You might want to wait. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Because that's a lot of time to dedicate. To me, I'm not the quickest reader. So, yeah, I would have to give it a couple of months since it's been out and then see what people are saying. Although I really hate the reviews like, oh, I just bought the book. It looks like it's going to be awesome. 5 stars.
Yeah, wait until you it before you review something.
Yeah, I'm like, what's your point?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, this would be a great pick. Like if you saw enough positive reviews, you could pick it up, read it, and then you could talk about it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious. I want to know more. They're not really describing too much here. It doesn't really say too much about it.
Right.
Just that it's based on whatever he knows from the people that he knows it from.
Mm-hmm. But, alien stuff. So I figured that might pique some people's interest looking for something new to read.
Yeah, or some crazy nutso stuff from a person that's just making it all up. That's possible too.
Cool. You never know.
Yeah.
I would be curious to see what he has to say, though.
Yeah. It could be interesting. Could be fascinating, as Spock used to say.
That is highly illogical.
That too. All right. So I want to ask a favor of everybody listening. If you haven't done so already, please go to this website. Okay, jot this down. Put this in a note somewhere, maybe on a post-it note on your screen, or just if you have if you're on your smartphone, if you have a note app, please put that in there. And it is Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com/Galactic Netcasts. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/Galactic Netcasts. And pledge as little as $1 a month to help us with operating costs here at Galactic Netcasts. Such as, Brad, what are we trying to pay for?
Well, web hosting.
Yep.
And making an update to our audio distribution.
Yep.
Through, SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, yes.
Yep. And
that's going to speed things up. That's going to speed download times up for you guys downloading your podcast. So that's going to help.
Yep. Just want to make it easier for everybody to get on board and listen to what they want to hear. So
this is a win-win for both. It's a win for us. It's a win for you. Because we're upgrading. And you can help us do that by your pledge of as little as $1 a month. But if you pledge just a little bit more, two more dollars per month, $3, you'll get a monthly newsletter from this show, from the Alien Invasion, or our other shows on the Galactic Netcast Network. In fact, we implemented a system this week where, what you do is you go to patreon.com/Galactic Netcasts. You pledge that $3 a month. And then shortly after, you'll get an email from us asking you to go to a certain web page where you will choose whatever show you listen to on the Galactic Netcast Network. And that way you get whatever content you're interested in most. Because maybe you're not interested in horror films or the podcast that Brad does, gaming, right?
Yes.
Maybe you're just interested in the aliens. So you'll just get that newsletter for the Alien Invasion. That's the $3 level. Now, you step it up to $5, you'll get an extra podcast, a bonus podcast. And we just did one for our Sci-Fi Geeks Club last week. And I'm thinking that we'll probably do one for Alien Invasion in 2 weeks because we're off next week. So maybe in 2 weeks, we'll record something extra that we'll put in as the perk or as the reward. So that will give you time right now to go to patreon.com/Galactic Netcasts and pledge that $5 a month. Help us with those operating costs. Helps you, helps us. It's a win-win all around. So one more time, that's patreon.com/Galactic Netcasts. If you forget what it is, the URL, just go to our website, gncasts.com, and you'll find the link there. All right. Let's move on.
Please identify the craft you witnessed.
A black, triangular, three-dimensional shape, huge, just flying, hovering mimic.
Shaped like almost like between an egg and like a teardrop.
Two long cylinder objects flying over me.
I could see the occupants in it.
It appeared to be rotating, and it was circular to disc shape, and it hovered for maybe about 5 minutes.
All right. It's time for our sightings segment. This is the segment of the show where we talk about people that have seen unidentified flying objects or, identified flying objects. They know what it is, or maybe they get abducted by aliens, something sightings related. That's why it's called sightings. It's a sighting of some kind. So on this week's sighting, we're going to go back to 1994. And I found this great website that basically gives a chronology of all the major sightings throughout UFO history. And did you take a look at that, Anessa, the link that I sent you guys with this?
Yes, I did.
Isn't it like just gigantic? There's a lot of them on there.
I was really impressed.
Yeah, it's neat.
There was one that I wanted to look into more. 1941 in Missouri.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll use that next week. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about one that happened in Plauen, Germany, about 250 kilometers east of Frankfurt. It has a population of about 100,000 people. The 39-year-old postal worker, Mrs. H., was watching TV by herself in her first-floor apartment, which is part of a high-rise community near the city center. Her daughter was out for the evening enjoying the local discotheque. She's at the discotheque. After the movie ended at about 11 p.m., Mrs. H went to her balcony from where she has an unobstructed view of the road and the disco. It was getting late. Whenever I hear disco or discotheque, I think of the two wild and crazy guys from Saturday Night Live.
I was going to go with Night at the Roxbury to try to, so that the youths can better.
The youths.
I got nothing.
No, I understand. You're trying to.
Other countries tend to call clubs discotheques.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but when I think of discotheque, I think of like two like greasy Eastern European guys in leisure suits, talking about going to the discotheque. I don't know. Anyways,
there you go.
I apologize to any Eastern European guys who wear leisure suits and that has greasy hair. I apologize.
Fair enough.
As she stepped outside, she noticed a bright light about 5 meters to her right in front of the balcony. She then spotted a big luminous object approximately 100 meters away, hovering at an altitude of about 30 meters just above the building. Looked like, to her, like two frisbees stuck together, turning in opposite directions. The bottom part had small dark squares that looked like windows, under which a circle of white lights rotated in a clockwise direction. The top of the object had a circle of white lights as well, but those were turning counterclockwise. The object appeared to be about 10 meters in diameter. It suddenly moved to the left and disappeared behind one of the other buildings. One moment later, the object came back around the corner and moved in front of the building, only to disappear behind the building on the right. Mrs. H ran into the street so she could follow the object. She observed the object vanish a few hundred meters away above some other apartment buildings. Mrs. H noticed that other people in the street had been watching the object, as well as about 5 couples who were standing on their balconies after they just got done having Netflix and chill time.
Oh, yeah.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Bam.
On demand.
At about 11:15 p.m., the telephone woke Mrs. Martina S., who was already asleep together with her 4-year-old daughter in their 11th floor apartment. Her friend, the downstairs Mrs. A., who lived in the same building on the 3rd floor, was very excited on the phone saying, "Martina, I think there's a UFO above our building." Mrs. A had observed the unusual object from her third-floor balcony and wanted to know if her friend could see the same thing from the top floor. Mrs. S replied with something like, "Are you crazy?" and was about to put the phone down when she heard her friend exclaim, "It's coming back! It's coming back again. Look to yourself, or look at it yourself." This caused Mrs. S to walk to the living room window with the phone in her hand, where she saw for herself a very large object hovering in front of her window, right there in front of her window. The object was only about 5 meters in front of her and looked like a shiny silver metallic structure to her. All right. There's more. Think I should continue? I mean, there's...
Sure.
Okay. All right. One more paragraph here. Mrs. S also noticed the 2 counter rotating lights, light rings, and some dark windows on the object. She said it seemed like the object was about to land on top of the building. Mrs. S dropped the phone, got her daughter, and ran down to her friend's apartment on the 3rd floor. After a little while, they carefully went towards the balcony and eventually ventured all the way onto the balcony to observe the object from below. They felt a strong wind coming from the object and noticed that there was a hole in the cloud cover above it, which they assumed was caused by the object. The object moved up and down like a yo-yo for a few minutes in the same place before it proceeded to a higher altitude, where it tilted at its axis and sped away in a northeasterly direction. During the incident, Mrs. S called her sister-in-law, who lived in another suburb, and told her about the observations. Her sister-in-law spotted the lights as well and proceeded to capture the phenomenon on video. The frightened ladies called the police as well and reported the observations to the authorities. By the time the police arrived, the object had disappeared, but the police told the ladies that many other people had called in and reported similar observations. So that's very interesting. 1994, Germany, a lot of people observing the same thing that sounded like it could only be one thing. Could be a flying saucer of some kind. Very detailed, right?
Very.
Yeah, that's always a good sign when people put a lot of detail into their reports.
Agreed.
Yes. All right, so there you go. That's our sightings. If you have any feedback, if you have any observations of your own on these ladies' observations, let us know via email, aliens@gncasts.com. That's aliens@gncasts.com. Do you guys have any thoughts before we move on?
I do have an update to our placement of Kemerovo
okay.
in Kazakhstan. Kemerovo is south of Kazakhstan.
Like by a couple thousand miles or something?
By a good, well, I wouldn't say 1,000, but that's
a big country. You can
yeah,
long distances between places.
Well, the only thing that I don't have here is the exact location of the Cosmodrome. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can tell you it's definitely south. Kazakhstan is more the northern part of Central Asia there. So.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the update. Now, weather. No, we don't have weather.
No.
Partly cloudy with a chance of UFOs.
Fair enough.
Later on tonight, some 20% chance for abductions and probing.
100% chance of Kari Sims appearing on the show.
Yeah, the Sci-Fi Geeks Club. Very excited to have. Is it Kari or Carrie?
I thought it was Kari.
Okay, Kari Sims. Okay, I
guess we'll all soon find out.
Yeah, she might be watching right now and going, "It's Carrie. It's Carrie.
It's Carrie."
So she was. I got to appear on the Trivia Geeks show, and unfortunately, she was having something came up, and she wasn't able to attend. So, I was so sure that they pronounced her name Kari. So we're gonna find out.
Is that this week?
No.
Okay, because I know she was in Iowa this week.
This is probably about a month ago.
Okay. All right. Hey, real quick before we move on to our picks, for more on this podcast, go to gncasts.com. That's GNCASTS.com/aliens. Or for the other shows like the aforementioned Sci-Fi Geeks Club or Brad's Adventure Party podcast or Matt's Podcast of Terror or what else? Galactic Gaming News, Who Knew and Reviews, Exploring the X-Files, Weird World Weekly. They're all there at the main site, which is GNcasts. That's GNCASTS.com. All right. What did we watch, listen to, played this week? Our picks. Let's do our picks. And Anessa's first.
Music. Woo!
Cool.
I'm pretty sure I've done one of their songs as a pick before, but I tried to do a search on our website and I couldn't find anything. So I kind of wondered if I was just dreaming. I dreamt of this very moment. But anyway, so my pick is an album called Chameleon Circuit, which is from a band called Chameleon Circuit. And they sing about, if you haven't guessed it yet, Doctor Who. That's all they sing about. And the first album has 10 songs, and the tunes are kind of catchy. They are, I wouldn't really consider them rock. They're not punk. I guess maybe alternative, sort of. I don't know. But anyway, I recommend giving them a listen. And they only came out with 2 albums, which I was kind of bummed about because I was trying to find something from them to see if they came out with anything more recent than 2011. And unfortunately not. I don't know if they're just on a hiatus or if they've decided to call it quits. But I'll go down a list of the songs and kind of a brief description about what each one's about. The first being An Awful Lot of Running. And it's basically yeah, it as it sounds, there's an awful lot of running to do when you're with the doctor, and it's kind of told from the perspective of a companion or someone that's traveling with the doctor. Gallifreyan History 101. That's pretty self-explanatory. You learn about the history of Gallifrey so you can become a Time Lord. You've got Count the Shadows, which is based on the episodes Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead. Hey, who turned out the lights? The next one is Shipwrecked, based on episodes Rise of the Cybermen and The Age of Steel. Then the next one's Type 40, which is about the TARDIS. Of course, the Type 40, I guess, being the model of the TARDIS. And it kind of talks about the different components and whatnot. It's really geeky. And then Blink. Guess which episode that's based on?
I have no idea.
Blink. Whereas you don't want to blink, so don't blink.
Yeah.
Exterminate, Regenerate refers to the ongoing battle between the Doctor and the Daleks. Time Lords and Daleks, and I suppose Davros. Canine's Lament. This one's actually kind of sad. Canine does not sound happy. He's like, sure, fine, I'll say affirmative master. Because it's what I do. Journey's End is based on the episode Journey's End. And then Friends of the Ood, which is all about the Ood. But no, like I said, they're really catchy. I forget the backstory behind them. I think it was just some folks on YouTube got together and decided to make Time Lord rock, or Trock as it's called. So
how would you describe their music?
Little poppy, but they've got like some acoustic stuff and maybe a little bit of rock. It's pretty much that. So it's not like heavy. You're not gonna go headbanging to it, and it's not like super poppy like I'm a Barbie girl. So, but it's catchy and it's upbeat for the most part, and I dig the lyrics. So I can't think of who I would compare them to musically. Can you, Brad?
No, I can't think of anybody that I could compare it to.
So, but I recommend giving them a listen. If you happen to have Amazon Prime, they are available for streaming. I'm not sure if they're on Spotify, or I'm sure there's probably a channel that you can listen to on Pandora.
Or I'm sure you can find their stuff on YouTube too.
Yeah, and I remember for some reason talking about an awful lot of running the video. So maybe that's what I picked, but still I couldn't really find Chameleon Circuit on the Galactic Netcast's website.
The name doesn't sound familiar. I don't think you've used them as a pick before.
Okay, because for some reason I feel like I've mentioned them before, or I've talked about them, or maybe I just talk about them a lot to the point where I feel like I've already picked them.
Yeah, that's possible. I don't remember them because I do all the show notes, so I would remember that name from typing it in or copying and pasting it someplace.
Right, and of course the name Chameleon Circuit comes from the part that would allow the TARDIS to change its appearance so it blends in with whatever time period it's in, but the Chameleon Circuit's broken, so it looks like the blue box no matter where it goes.
Or a diner.
Or a diner, yeah. So, but yeah, no, I highly recommend giving them a listen. Even if it's just for the lyrics, it's interesting to hear songs about Doctor Who, because normally you see like comic books and audio books and novels and whatnot, and little fan-made videos, and just to see that people have gotten together with their love of Doctor Who and they've decided to put together music, I think that's pretty awesome. And I love that they call it Time Lord rock, so it's Trock.
Yeah, and we don't really do much music as our picks, so it's kind of refreshing. It's a change of pace to have some music. I think we've done it a few times. I think Brad had some weird
someone had like a Star Trek thing, and then I think it was a Star Trek type album.
No, Brad had some weird 1970s I don't know what art rock theme concept album or something. Remember that, Brad?
Oh boy.
The hell was that?
Well, the one album I did was the. Oh no, I didn't do it yet. I have a Star Trek album that was interviews with Gene Roddenberry, and this was done in the 70s.
Oh, okay. But you did music it was I don't know, it was from the 1970s, I want to say, or early 1980s, where it was just this weird art rock. And
yeah. Oh God, that was a while ago. Yeah. It was free. They had just released it. Or no, it wasn't free. It was a donate or a pay what you something.
Yeah. You know what? I love the feature where we try to remember things that we've done on the podcast before.
It's been a lot of shows, and it's been a while, so
I know.
It's been 5 years, Dave. That's a lot of history to wade through.
It's been 5 years this fall. So happy birthday to us.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, cool, Anessa. Thank you. That was a great pick. I don't have a TV show. I don't have a movie. I don't have a video game. I don't have music. I don't have an app. But I do have a commercial. I think this is probably the first time that maybe not. But we haven't done it commercials that much as picks. But as you may or may not know, the big game is coming up this Sunday, Super Bowl. Yay. But the most important, the most interesting part of the whole Super Bowl experience is the commercials, of course. And this is one that I just happened to run into earlier this week. And it's for Avocados. It's like the Avocado Council or something like that. And in the spot, an alien tour guide is showing his fellow extraterrestrials the bounty of Earth, which includes the cube of Rubik, described as a simple puzzle that was actually considered unsolvable by the humans. So this is what this reminds me of? This commercial reminds me of that episode of Star Trek Voyager where there was a data cube like recovered on some planet because they had disposed of it, or it was like jettisoned from the ship, and it contained all this information about Voyager, including a backup copy of the emergency medical hologram. So they had a version of the Doctor, but it was like a warped version of their story, right? It was like Captain Janeway was just a terrible person, and they were wreaking havoc throughout the Delta Quadrant, and everything was just a little bit off, right? So this commercial kind of reminded me of that. So they had the cube of Rubik, described as a simple puzzle that was actually considered unsolvable by the humans. There was also airplane seats, and they described it as a 21st century torture device. The alphabet, which is made up entirely of emojis. See, they're getting things just a little bit off, a little bit wrong. The infamous white and gold dress that caused a civil war. And Scott Baio in a cage. So there's all these things that they're showing off in this museum, and all of a sudden they just pass by. Oh, and Scott Baio in a cage, and he's waving. Hey guys. So that's about it. One of the funniest scenes is one of the aliens shoots the other for some reason, and the other alien disintegrates. I forget why, but it's a funny reason why. I think he was looking at him wrong or something like that. Anyways, you can check out the commercial in the link that we will include in the show notes. Again, it's a commercial for Avocados, which will air this Sunday during the big game, Super Bowl. So you can either go to the link or just watch the game on Sunday. You'll catch it there. All right, Brad, let's wrap up picks with yours.
All right. I mentioned last week that I've been watching Rick and Morty, and by golly, if I didn't finish season 1 on Hulu today. Yay. And in this one, it involves it's called Ricksy Business. Rick and Morty, Rick being the super genius grandfather. The parents leave to go to a Titanic-themed cruise. The father, who is voiced by Chris Parnell, formerly of Saturday Night Live, does the voice of Cyril Figgis for Archer. And huge fan of Titanic, and it's supposed to be a romantic getaway. His wife, Beth, who is voiced by Sarah Clark, who was in Scrubs. She was the blonde doctor that always was putting her foot in her mouth. And she's not into it. So things kind of, that's like a side thing for those other characters. Now Rick is left in charge of Summer, the eldest daughter, and Morty. And they decide to have a party. But both Amber and Rick want to have a party. So they invite their different groups of friends. And Rick, being a super genius, invites people from other dimensions and other planets to enjoy a party. And things kind of go off the rails. I don't want to wreck what happens, but it's a very, very funny show. It is adult themed. I mean, it's Adult Swim. So, I mean, this is Cartoon Network later in the evening.
Do they end up being accidentally become a whorehouse?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just going from the name, it's a takeoff on Risky Business, it sounds like.
Yes. But a couple of the characters are looking to have some fun, as it were. Get some action.
Okay, let me ask you one more question about this.
Yes.
Is there any time during this episode where one of the characters goes, sometimes you have to say, what the F?
No.
Okay, because that was also in Risky Business.
Yes.
Remember?
I don't recall. Yeah, I do recall that. I don't recall that being in the episode.
Was there a steamy subway sex scene?
No, there was not.
Okay. All right, I'm done. That's it.
There was a genetically created being that was the DNA of Abraham Lincoln and Adolf Hitler.
So he's honest about killing millions of Jews.
It's the kind of duality of being, and this particular creature was created by not creature. This particular being was created by Rick, and it had the the stovepipe hat. It had the beard, but it had the Hitler mustache under the nose. So yeah, it was, and he was very torn between being the great emancipator and being the man who just tried to kill did succeed at killing millions of people and try to take over the world. So the duality of being and trying to get the acceptance of his father's love is that portion of the storyline. So it's very much so. And that's what makes Rick and Morty so great, is so many weird things can happen, but they do explore some very interesting bits, but they use humor to do it, and it's Dan Harmon humor, so it's bound to be crass at some level. So it's very enjoyable and a very interesting series. Only season 1 is available on Hulu. I believe that I know that there's a season 2, and I don't know if season 3 is currently out or will be out shortly, but a season 3 is most certainly happening. No, that's right. They're working on season 3.
Do you have to have the paid version of Hulu to get this? Do you know?
I'm not certain.
Okay. Do you guys pay for Hulu?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, my son Alex signed us up for ad-free Hulu.
Thanks, Alex.
It was one of those things where it's like, I'm paying an additional $3 a month, and I backed it off, but you still get it for a month, and it's like, oh, commercial free is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But it's just one of those things, like, he doesn't realize how online payments or credit cards or he's learning how money works, and so he doesn't realize where this is coming from, or that it's even money that he's doing. He's like, oh yeah, I totally want that. I don't want to have to sit through commercials just so I can listen to CSI Miami's theme for like the billionth time. So yeah, but yeah, high price of convenience, I suppose. But
all right, hey, there you go. There's our picks. We had Rick and Morty, Ricksy Business. We had the Super Bowl commercial for the Avocados, and we had the Chameleon Circuit self-titled album, which I was going to say, by the way, they need to do a follow-up because a lot has happened since the episodes that these songs are based off of. It's been a few seasons. So get on that, guys. Before we wrap things up, some live feedback here from Growly Bear. He's listening again tonight, or he's watching again tonight. And his comment on, I think he's talking about the Sightings. He said, I guess, and he tweeted at us at Galactic Netcast on Twitter, and he's at Growly Bear. His name is Carrie. He says, I guess aliens don't know about Airbnb. They didn't need to check out the property. Wait, maybe it was a timeshare. Maybe they're just checking into the somebody's place in that whatever it was.
Maybe they're doing like a travel blog.
Yeah, maybe it's possible. But thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Growly Bear. We are at Galactic Netcast. You can reach out to us there, or reach out to us, aliens at gncasts.com. That's aliens at gncasts.com. Or call our voicemail number, which is 805-328-3966, 805-328-3966. And of course, Brad, people can subscribe to us. How do they do that?
Through the internet.
Yay!
Oh, well, they can subscribe to us on via iTunes. they can subscribe to us via Stitcher. And if they do so, they can give us a rating. That would be a star rating for iTunes and a thumbs up, thumbs down. But that's for each particular episode. And any comments you can leave for the episodes or for the show would be pretty wonderful. We'd like to get feedback from the folks that listen so that we can make the best show that we possibly can, and just kind of keep that dialogue open. We don't do it just to hear our voices.
Speak for yourself.
Although Dave's got a pretty sweet voice. But we do like to hear from folks like from
Growly Bear.
From Growly Bear.
Yeah, it's always a better show when we're talking about when we're interacting with our listeners and our viewers like that. And
we also have RSS subscribe, an RSS subscribe tab on gncasts.com as well, so you can use your favorite podcatcher to get our shows.
And a couple of things that we don't really talk about too much. You can also subscribe to us via email, and it's a one-step process. You just put in your email address, and bam, you're on the mailing list. And whenever we have a new episode, it gets sent to you in your email. So if you don't want to mess with like an app or anything regarding your phone, although you could have it come to your phone either way, just subscribe to us via email. Or I also like TuneIn Radio, which Alpha Geek Radio is on as well, because we're also on TuneIn Radio, and you can follow us on TuneIn Radio, and the new episodes will automatically come into your feed on TuneIn Radio too. So we give you many, many options for subscribing to the show.
It's all about your convenience.
Yes, exactly. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Alien Invasion Podcast. Thank you for joining us again. And before we get out of here, final thoughts. Brad, first, go.
We wanted to see a movie last night, but nothing really looked good. We could have seen Star Wars again, but
Deadpool's coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
As is Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
Yes.
With Matt Smith. Speaking of
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to both of those films.
And
although
date nights tomorrow.
We would not take Alex to either of those films.
No, it's probably not a good idea. All right. Well, good luck picking, choosing, going, and Anessa, what's your final thought?
I want them to bring back the original Strongbow recipe to the States.
What is Strongbow?
It is a hard cider from the UK, and I think Heineken owns it or owns part of it, or at least what's here in the States, and they put out some new flavors. And don't get me wrong, I like the new flavors, but I miss the old Strongbow because it was a dry cider. It wasn't nearly as sweet as the new flavors are, and they just kind of said, nope, we're not doing the original recipe anymore in the States. So that makes me kind of sad. So I'll just have to drink the sweet cider.
Okay. Let's all commiserate with it.
Change.
All right. Again, thank you for listening and watching, everybody. Until next time, we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Stand by. We're going off the air.